Things from the 2000s that will confuse today's kids. TV carts. First of all, remember as a kid in the 2000s when a teacher rolled in the TV cart, it was a sign that the class was about to get really exciting or painfully dull. Say hello to the CRT TV, a bulky beast with a backside that boldly declares, "I'm here and ready to entertain or make you complain," depending on the day. The cart is usually accompanied by a DVD player set under the TV. On its own, the CRT television was a test of patience. To display channels, an antenna was required to receive television broadcasts. The worst part is when the TV loses signal, usually at the climax of whatever movie you're watching, making you frantic about readjusting the antenna. Kids these days with their sleek wall-mounted LED TVs just can't relate to the muscle workout we got from lugging a TV as heavy as a mini fridge. A TV so massive it needed its own personal cart chauffeur. Imagine how their reaction would be if a teacher rolled in a TV on a cart into the classroom. Polly Pocket. Moving on, do you remember how it felt to have a house in your pocket? That's exactly how we felt about the Polly Pocket. And if you thought it was merely a toy, wait until you hear its origin story. The Polly Pocket was inspired by a father's love. It was specially designed in 1983 from Crest to his daughter. That's not all, he created a tiny dollhouse using the makeup powder compact. Chris may have given his daughter a special childhood gift, but it was received by every kid. However, all good things must come to an end. When Mattel purchased the company that produced the Polly Pocket, Bluebird Toy, this pioneered the changes made to the Polly Pocket we know and love. The toy became much larger and had a realistic look. Despite this, the Polly Pocket, which was released from 1989 to 1998, are still much more valuable. New age kids may be able to relate to the Polly Pocket, but not in the way the 2000s can. We owned a world in our hands. Ice cream. Just as we cherished the Polly Pocket, there was something else we yearned for as kids. Ice cream. However, not just any one, it was the Cedar Crest vanilla ice cream. Consequently, the most unforgettable taste of this frozen dessert was the wooden spoon that came with it. The taste of ice cream and wood might not have been a good mix, but it was still part of our childhood. Whether you call it a Hoodsies or Dixie cup, discovering one of these in the fridge felt like hitting the jackpot. What usually follows was sneaking several bites, covering up the crime scene, and waiting for the inevitable interrogation from mom. Today's kids might get excited about fancy gelato and frozen yogurt, but they'll never know the satisfaction of a wooden spoon scooping ice cream from a paper cup. The family computer, old Windows background. Speaking of satisfaction, what was your favorite activity on the computer? One tradition that's probably beyond the understanding of the AI generation is using a family computer. The good old days of fighting for who gets to use the computer first. Some days you might be lucky. Others, you just may come out bruised with no luck. A fortune in this case if you're an only child. And that old Windows background that made you wish you could jump into the screen and live there? Good times. Turns out the background is located in Sonoma County, California, United States. Using the family computer comes with creating different users so you can have your privacy from family members who won't let you have one. Also, the unending connection of gadgets to have internet access. These are things that kids of today would scrunch up their nose at the thought of. Gameboy. Back in the day, kids had to be told to come inside. Now they have to be told to go outside. For kids in the 2000s, Gameboy is here to dispute that, as the gadget became your companion. Nintendo rolled out Gameboy in 1989 and successfully ended our productivity. The Gameboy wasn't just a console, it was a reason to avoid human interaction. Bonus part is, it had a battery life that could last for ages, which means you can ignore annoying siblings for a painfully long time. Thanks to the Game Boy, gaming wasn't confined to our living room anymore. Suddenly, road trips with games like The Legend of Zelda and Pokemon Blue went from "are we there yet?" to "oh, we're here." But like every childhood came to an end, so did the Game Boy's success. However, we will never forget the iconic tech gadget that allowed us to enjoy being a child. These days, kids download games faster than I can blink, but in the 2000s, we had a few games and knew them inside out. MSN Messenger. Going forward, it's amazing to see how technology has evolved, especially in the messaging platform. Before the advent of messaging apps and social media, we communicated by passing messages through birds. Well, that's what the younger generation think. We actually used MSN Messenger. MSN Messenger allowed us to catch up with our favorite cousins and extended family. Like most popular programs in the 2000s, it was developed by Microsoft. But unlike the current message application, it was facilitated by the desktop. Back then, we were glued to our desktops, fingers flying on our keyboard. But as social media and smartphones came in like a storm, MSN Messenger was left in the dust. It eventually shut down in 2013 and gave way to Skype. But hey, MSN may be a relic, but it would have a special place in our heart. And maybe a few embarrassing chat logs we hope would never see the light. Razr. Speaking of chat logs, did you ever feel like a tech guru moving from chatting on MSN to texting on a Razr? You know the saying, be with you through thick and thin? Well, the Razr reflects this perfectly. From my own experience, I know that the phone can be thrown against the wall in a fit of rage or drop from a considerable height and still be fine. Can't say the same about current phones because they don't make them like they used to. The original Razr V3 was the hot supermodel among flip phones. Released in 2004, this bad boy was sleek, stylish, and sturdier than a $2 steak. And let's not forget those buttons. Oh, forgot the satisfaction of T9 texting? Sure, it took some practice, but once you got the hang of it, you could whip out text with the speed and accuracy of a ninja. The Razr may not be as good as the smartphones and iPhones, but the 2000s kids can attest to the fact that it was an unforgettable experience. Scoobiedoo. What taught you patience and creativity as a child? It was Scoobiedoo. Depending on where you live or were raised, this crafted leather has many names. Gimp, boondoggle, or lanyard, choose your pick. Knotting colorful plastic strands became popular in the United States in the early 20th century, especially amongst the Boy Scouts. The leather was crafted into keychains, belts, and was the unofficial badge for coolness. Plus, it was a great way to keep busy during those long car rides or rainy days indoors. If you didn't have at least one leather-crafted item on you, were you even trying? Despite its beginning, the word boondoggle would evolve to mean an extravagant or useless project. The craft remains popular, especially during camps. It may not be as engaging to today's kids as it was to us, but it's a reminder of simpler times when what we had to worry about was which color to use next. Nintendo. In the 2000s, having a Nintendo meant having a pass to an endless supply of entertainment. It was more than just a gaming system, it was the expression of happiness for kids. Pressing the power button felt like stepping through the portal to a different world. And when the Nintendo logo appears, you know that there's an exciting experience ahead. However, the real magic occurred when you grasped the controller as though it were your life. Your laser-like concentration as you steer Mario through the tricky landscape while avoiding obstacles, stealthily avoiding barrels in Donkey Kong like a ninja, and uncovering secrets in The Legend of Zelda, which felt as satisfying as finding money hidden inside your sofa. Don't forget how much fun it was to play games with friends. Back then, to play Super Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart, everyone crammed into the living room, battling for position on the couch. It was creating memories and sharing laughs together. Rather than concentrate on winning or losing, those gaming evenings created a strong relationship. Lip Smacker, Dr. Pepper. If nostalgia were a flavor for the 2000s kids, it would taste like the sweet soda essence of Lip Smackers. Introduced by Bon Bell in 1973, the flavored lip became a fashion statement. The thrill of having your perhaps favorite drink flavor stuck to your lips was an experience like no other. It was not only a remedy for dry and chapped lips, but it was a feast of flavor. Alas, our beloved Dr. Pepper and all other flavors have unfortunately been discontinued due to an expired license in 2020. A moment of silence for the lost opportunities to make more memories with our favorite lip smackers. Yet, the story doesn't end there. Dr. Pepper has partnered with Taste Beauty for a new lip balm. While the formula may not be what you're used to, you may get something close to it. I'm curious what your favorite flavor was. Today's generation might rage about lip gloss and lipstick, but for the 2000s kids, flavors may come and go, but lip smackers and flavored Dr. Pepper has a special place in my heart. Like what you watched? then make sure you subscribe because there's more coming.